Yeah.
When was Cafe founded? I'm trying to find that.
2014?
It's getting
Cygnus, was it? Cygnus Zone? Was that his
yeah,
name?
Cygnus Zion, yeah. But I'm looking for because I joined like 2 weeks after the group was created. So whenever it was created is when I joined.
Oh, yeah, that's 2015
All right, well, that would be when I
somewhere.
jumped
That's
on
when you found
board.
them?
Yeah. I was a really early adopter for Thrill. I was like pre 1 million views for Thrill because I had already been bouncing around different Japanese bands.
So you joined the Facebook group like right after you found them?
Pretty much, yeah.
Uh,
I was
I
like
didn't.
I was certainly like sub 100 members, probably in the low 30s or 40s.
Hmm. Yeah, it must have been at least a good 6 months before I even realized that there were Facebook groups. I never even thought about that or even considered that these things were out there. I don't know what made me want to look them up. I think I just couldn't get enough of them. I was like, I need more bandmaid. Yeah.
Yeah, it was there was other Facebook groups for Japanese bands,
Oh.
and it was kind of an easy transition into
Hmm.
because I think Japanese music experience predates bandmaid
Yeah. No, I'm actually a part of Nemophilia Worldwide,
Mhm.
but I only joined because you left that comment about about people at whiskey
Oh,
being being zombies in the front, and I was like, I need to see this comment.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was one of my more divisive comments that I've made.
Yeah. But I actually helped Alan make one of their cover photos because I remember when I, I remember when I went to that page and I saw it, I was like, this looks terrible. It looked very like 8-bit. So I was like,
Mm.
hey, I made this for you. I don't really listen to Neophilia that much, but I just want to help you guys out. I want the girls to succeed, and so I just made it and just sent it to him.
And he hit me up early on with that group. Like I made the bandmade pens for us. I
Yeah.
I did a Nemophila version of those for him, and he gave them away as gifts. What's up, Mir?
That's that's
All
cool.
right, we are live,
Okay.
guys.
What? Oh, that took too long. Hi.
Welcome to Japanese News Podcast. We have Peter and SJ Nix from
Hello.
Made News Network. We are still waking up, but we're alive. We're alive. Hope you all are
Good
alive too.
morning, evening, afternoon, everybody.
Hell yes.
Good evening.
So Peter,
Yeah.
according to sources, I heard you are one of the biggest maniacs out there, aka SJ
Oh,
Nix.
that source is completely wrong. Yeah. It's actually not me. It's actually SJ. Sometimes people confuse us because we do look alike, but SJ is actually the biggest maniac in the world. I
I mean,
mean,
his
like the
name.
minute I hear maniac, all I see is SJ's face.
We should have
Yeah, I
labels
mean,
on their photos so people don't get confused.
there is a thumbnail with his face and the name on there. But anyways,
Okay.
I want to talk about that starting off. So, what is it? SJ told me a little bit about it, but I'd like to hear from you. So, what is it with that word
Oh, okay.
that makes you guys cringe?
So
Ryan's
this
so
goes
confused.
This is just my face, man.
so
That's how
this
I look
goes
most
back
time.
to high school.
Oh wow!
All the cool kids were wearing khakis and denim shirts. And I was like, I don't want to be a cool kid. I don't want to be what everybody else is. I don't want to wear the denim shirt and the khakis because everyone else is.
That is being a cool kid, man.
Yeah, you're
But
thinking deep.
I didn't want to be like the cool kid. I wanted to be my own kid. I wanted to be who I was. So I think if I'm being like very serious about this, I don't like the moniker. First of all, because it sounds terrible to my ears. The ack at the end really just kind of just rubs up the wrong way.
Like if somebody's
secondly,
inserting something in there, or is that what you're feeling?
yeah, like maybe ack. I don't like that ack.
Mars attack.
Right.
You'd be attacked by
that-
Martians.
That is exactly what it is. But yeah, I don't like people putting things on me.
Whoa.
That sounds weird.
Okay. All right.
Just
So
just
you don't-
chock full of phrasing, bud.
So you don't like things in your ear. You don't like
Let's
things on you.
let's rewind that.
I think we're getting somewhere with this.
Going so well.
For those
So
just
when I was
joining, we're talking about
5
the word maniac and what it means
When
to
I
Peter.
was 5. Yeah, no, Miku calls us masters and princesses, and that's what I like to be called. You can call me a master, you can call me a princess. Either of those is fine. But yeah, it's like YOLO. I think when everyone was using the word YOLO, it was like I will never ever use that word because everyone else was using it.
I feel you on that.
Yeah, but BAND-MAID was able to turn that around, so I have no issues with saying YOLO and loving the word YOLO and the song YOLO. But they were the ones who did that. So yeah.
So what is it about? How did this even come about, though? Like, even the word, I don't even know where it originated. Somebody was like in my comment section a million times just saying, "Oh, are you a maniac now?" And I would always say no. I'm like, no, there's way bigger fans than I am.
It's the right answer.
And I cannot say that I am. And then it just kept coming and coming up and coming up. And then of course later on I'm like, okay, now I can, because I'm sure you guys already know the story. I became a bigger fan of them later on. That's when I became like a really huge fan of them. And it was a process, though, like of discovering them. So that's why I was curious when SJ told me the story about the word maniac. He's like, Peter's giving me crap. I'm like, what are you talking about? He sent me the picture of the thumbnail because I had his face and me on the thumbnail, and it said what it is to be a maniac / bandmaid fan. And he told me you were giving him shit about it. I'm like, I didn't get it because I didn't know the story behind it. Then he told me.
Got it.
So the term's been around for years, and I'm talking like 2018 probably. It's something that someone came up with, and I understand why people like it, but I'm like with Peter, I'm happy with what the band calls us as fans, and it had the maniac to me has kind of a sycophantic overtone to it, and I'll call myself a super fan, but I'm not a sycophant, because I don't like something with the band, you're going to hear about it. And the perfect examples are like Start Over and Dragon Cries, for being honest.
Hey, I mean, that's a really good point. I mean, like, it obviously comes from the word fanatic, I'm assuming, is what they were trying to do.
Maniac.
Yeah.
Maniac. Very big fan. As always.
Yeah. I thought it was
what
interesting.
What the fuck is wrong with Start Over?
Okay, so
no, we got time. We
can. We'll go there. We'll go.
We got all the time in the world. Go ahead, SJ.
Okay, so Start Over and the Dragon Cries are both kind of the same for me. I'm a very visual person, and my first introduction to Start Over, like a lot of people, was the video. That video is fucking ridiculous. The cutscenes absolutely make me mental. It's like a BAND-MAID song and a Nickelback video had a baby and gave us that garbage. So in my mind, I cannot extract the two from one another when I listen to the song.
It's sad, man.
That is sad.
And
it's a freaking great song, dude.
It's a decent song. Pop. It's a decent pop song, but it's not a good BAND-MAID song. Just isn't.
Damn. I would consider other BAND-MAID songs to be more.
Watch my video.
I've seen it.
I consider other BAND-MAID songs like more pop than that one, though. That's interesting. I consider that more of a hard rock style. I love this song, and I didn't why do you think the visuals to it were crap? Because in my opinion, I thought, you know, she's talking about serious topics, singing about serious thing, and that's why they had the music video going with it. But curious on your perspective from it, because I didn't really.
About Dragon Cries or Start Over?
When Dragon Cries.
Start Over.
Okay, we're talking about Start Over.
Oh,
he's talking about Start Over.
Okay, I thought you said When Dragon Cries. Sorry. All
No,
right.
so those two are bottom catalog songs for me. Start Over is the bottom of the catalog for me, and Dragon Cries is just above it. And again, it comes back to the video. For me, the Dragon Cries, I'm not interested in political nonsense in that. And
Gotcha.
It's the engineering on the song is not good. And the song, the final nail in the coffin for me with Dragon Cries is if you listen to Conqueror start to finish, it is bookended by two of the best songs on that album. You got Bubble on the front end and you've got Flying High on the back end. Those two just absolutely crush Dragon Cry in the middle.
On Conqueror, it's Paige and Rene.
Interesting.
Bullshit.
Well, guys, if you're wondering who these two are, they have a YouTube channel called Made News Network where they talk about BAND-MAID specifically, and you guys are interviewing people from the community. And I was just watching the one with Hogan. It's a really good interview. He went to every single show to BAND-MAID, and it's a very awesome story to listen to. You guys should go check out that podcast, subscribe to the channel, because you have some good content coming on there. SJ, you want to go ahead and let them know what else they can expect from that channel and why they should subscribe?
Sure. So Peter just did a video with Vladimir Chupin. That's coming out. We've got a few other things in the hopper. Alex Jez, the guy who does the cello covers, we got an interview coming up with him. That should be really interesting to get into his musical background and how he found them. This next week, we've got a Thanksgiving video coming up. A bunch of you guys sent in comments to one we did last week, and we're going to string all of those comments together and push a video out for Thanksgiving. I've got one coming up in a week or so with Jonathan Fenno. He is a merch guy like I am, and this guy he's got some crazy stuff that I'm guessing a lot of fans don't even know exists. So I'm going to hold on to that one. And then when we do the video, you'll get to see some of the stuff he has, and I'll dig into my closet and show you some of the cool stuff I have as well.
That's awesome. Really enjoying the interview stuff and interviewing the fans and everything that's going on there. It's coming out good. What happened? What happened, Peter?
Nothing happened.
Did your poster fall? Oh, it did fall.
We have a poster down.
What made you guys decide to start this channel up? Was it the comment when I said, "Hey, you should have a podcast"?
I've never heard that comment.
It was we were filming and stuff, and Ryan and I completely botched his interview. And then he came out to ours and just like perfectly delivered a message. And then Ryan and I looked at him and we're like, "Man, you should start a podcast." And then we get home, and then all of a sudden, Made News Network with SJ, Nix, and Peter. I'm just kidding.
So it had been in my mind for a while. I was thinking, like, can we do something on YouTube that references BAND-MAID, but isn't a reaction channel? Because there's definitely like a plethora of them. You know, you guys do your thing, and there's so many people out there who, you know, have really found that niche and have established yourselves. But I didn't want to repeat that. So I just always had in my mind, what can we do? And then once I went to LA, I mean, that's the first time I actually met Scott. I met the other admins, Chester, and everyone else. And we were doing the recording for like the activities outside. And I thought, okay, there's definitely some chemistry. There's definitely something here that maybe can be exploited.
You mean admins from Facebook, right? This is from your Facebook group that you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay.
Admins of BAND-MAID Fans Cafe. So just kind of seeing our interaction and how we kind of meshed, I thought, okay, maybe we can do something. So after I came back to Japan, I hit up SJ and said, "Hey, what do you think about doing a channel?" He's like, So I made the logo, the banner, sent it to him. He's like, "I like it." So I went ahead and made the channel and said, "SJ, let's do this." And he's like, "Yeah, let's do this." So that's kind of what happened.
That is awesome. Well, Ryan will continue to take the credit for it though, either way. So you guys are screwed there. But especially
Take credit
after
for a lot of
the
stuff.
going back to the music video. So you guys are talking about the visuals not matching, or like the visuals what did it in for those two songs. Do you think your mind would have been different, guys, if you heard those two songs without the music video?
Oh, I don't have any issue with
So for
the
me,
Dragon
now
Cries.
start over is, I mean, it's for start over maybe, because when I hear it in the car, it isn't terrible. It's still bottom of the catalog for me, but I don't hate it as much as I did with the video. And they did it live in LA, and it was tolerable. But if I'm being honest, that would be my, like, Psyche gets her pee break when Miku does Imagine Time. Start over is kind of my pee break, I guess.
Wow. Damn.
This is killing Ryan.
Don't get it, man.
Ryan, what do you guys say?
No, I'm just surprised, man. I just think it's, you know, good song.
Start over to me
there's songs,
is
there's other
Chemical
songs.
Reaction to Champ.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's cross. It's cross. See? See, that's what I think about your comment. That's the song for me. Then like,
It's funny because you
No,
guys
for
were
me,
mentioning
okay.
you guys
go
were
ahead.
mentioning YOLO, and YOLO is actually one of my least favorites from BAND-MAID.
Oh, I think
that
it's
song.
an amazing song.
Yeah, that's
I love that was one of the songs that clenched it for me with BAND-MAID, because Misa going to the second verse and what she does. Like I mentioned this in another video that we did, but what Misa does in the second verse for Real Existence, when she goes up to the high end of the fret, and then also for YOLO, what she does, and then that little downward like chromatic, I was like, it was simple, but it was perfect. It was perfect. So for me, like those two songs really, I think, solidified. I like this band is something else.
So Peter, when you listen to a song, what are you looking for in a song when you're listening to it? Because you do play music yourself. You said you did a cover, and
Right.
yeah, go into that a little bit about your background with that and what you do look for in a song.
I mean, I think I'm very much a melody guy. Like I grew up on MTV. I grew up on like Madonna, Michael Jackson, Cyndi Lauper, David Bowie, like everything that came out on MTV I was watching. So it was very much a melody that grabbed me first. But aside from the melody, I mean, there's got to be something special, a little bit different. But in the end, it just has to sound good and it has to feel good. Like I don't care what it is. Like it really doesn't matter what genre it is. Like I don't niche myself in just hard rock or just metal or just this. It's like a good song is a good song. And if it moves you and if you like it and you like it. So
and during that when you're how did you come across BAND-MAID? How did that whole thing just start then when you got into them?
So BAND-MAID was 4.5 years ago when I moved to Japan. I moved to Japan 2018, end of March, beginning of April. And I had actually seen another band live. It was a 3-piece band, and their name is called Real with the R backwards. It's a 3-piece female rock band. And I was like, wow, this drummer is really good. The singer I wasn't quite too hot about, but the bassist was really on, and the music itself wasn't too bad. So I went on YouTube, started looking for female rock band, Japanese, and then eventually BAND-MAID came up. So listened to a couple of songs. It was Real Existence that really grabbed me. And then from there, I just kept on going and kept on going. I went to like another song from another band and then went back to BAND-MAID, and just, I think I must have gone through at least 15, 20 songs like that day.
Wow.
So, but yeah, it was just, I saw a band, I typed in, Japanese female rock band, came across BAND-MAID, listened to it, and I said, damn, this is good stuff.
Wow.
So,
and for you, SJ, how did it all start for you?
I want to say this is probably early 2013. A buddy of mine who's Japanese watches NHK at night. Excuse me.
What is NHK for the people listening?
Oh, it's a like Japanese news channel. They do everything from news in Japan. It's in English. You can find it over here on the cable networks.
Oh, wow.
And they'll do news from Japan. They'll plug in music videos. They'll do, travel type stuff. It's a Japanese channel that's all in English, and you get to see what goes on over there. And he's watching it like 1 a.m. one day. And have you or Ryan heard of Dazzle Vision?
I have not.
Okay. Here's your homework. Dazzle Vision, the song is Second. He saw that video and he showed it to me, and I was like, holy fuck, what was that?
We can't cuss on this.
Sorry.
I'm kidding. Of course you can.
So I watched that, and then like it was like maybe a month or two later, he goes, oh, you like that band? Here's another one that he found. That was Exist Trace. Mm-hmm. So after Exist Trace, it was and the song True. Have you guys seen True?
No.
I've heard a limited amount of Exist Trace. But...
Gotcha. Okay. So it was those two, and then the exploration begins. You get into Destros, and you get into Cynthia, and you get into Mardellis, all of these other Japanese bands, either female fronted or all female bands. And then somewhere in there, Baby Metal came along. And then Thrill pops up. I'm like, now see, the Baby Metal experience actually stunted initially my love for bandmaid, because Thrill, Miku's holding her Rickenbacker, it's more of a prop then. And I looked at that, I'm like, are they really playing?
Oh, okay.
And so I didn't pay it much attention until Real Existence, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's better. But man, when the Nonfiction days landed, I'm like, okay, I jumped off the deep end, and it was off to the freaking races. And I wish I'd have been a little sooner, because I would have went to SakuraCon.
What was it about Baby Metal that turned you off also? So you cut, because it was Baby Metal and bandmaid at the same time. So you saw Miku just holding the guitar, kind of about it. And then what was Baby Metal doing that you're just not digging?
Okay, so make no mistake, at that time, I was a huge Baby Metal fan, huge. Like I joined the one, I bought all the limited edition nonsense, all of that stuff. I was way in. But for whatever reason, it was like with Baby Metal, you know what you're getting. With bandmaid, I'm like, oh, it kind of looks like they're faking it. I'd rather have them really, if they're going to be musicians, they need to be, if they're going to act like musicians, they need to be musicians. Because there's a lot of idol I listen to too. So I'm totally cool with them not playing instruments. But there was something about that it just wasn't okay with at first. I wasn't mad about it, but it wasn't like, I didn't have this burning desire to explore more, I guess.
Gotcha. And then what so you said Nonfiction days just got you down the rabbit hole? Because I had asked a question on one of the bandmaid videos, and your comment was like, because for me, bandmaid was not right away. And it took me, it was about like 7 months, I think, finally, when I was like, it was Unseen World, as a lot of people know. That's what just made me like a super fan of them. And for you, how long is this time span? Because you saw Thrill, and then how long did it take for Nonfiction days to come your way? And then you're like, oh shit.
So this is all happening in real time, because I found bandmaid I saw Thrill in early 2015. I think they dropped it like November of 2014 or something like that. And I saw the video, and so it's like that's out there floating around. Then they release Real Existence. And then I think Nonfiction days was maybe even either late 2015 or early 2016. I'm not even sure. It had to be 2016. And then that's when I'm like, oh, okay, these are guys that are worth exploring. Now I'm trying to get whatever I can music. And I'm not buying physicals at this time. So I'm getting whatever I can get off of iTunes. And so it was, I've grown up with them, I guess, is the way to put it. So it's been this trickle feed. It's not like you guys who find them 2 years ago, and then you can just like mainline all of their songs in a day or two.
Okay. Interesting. Ryan, I don't think we've ever asked you how you stumbled on it actually with bandmaid stuff. How did that all happen?
It's because I was started my channel, and I got into Nightwish. And that brought some people in. And on the first Nightwish video I did, somebody suggested BAND-MAID and on the second one. And first one I watched was Thrill live version, and I loved it.
It was you
And
saw
then I
Thrill
think-
live first?
Yeah, the live Thrill version first. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, it was awesome. I think I'm sitting here wondering like how if I discovered him differently, if I would have seen it differently. Like if I saw the video first, the music video would have been different. But not because I've seen plenty of videos where a singer is like not really playing the guitar, but it's pretty clear that everybody else is playing their shit. You know, I wouldn't have been like, they're not playing. The song's fucking great though. I mean, I like the studio version too. It's a great song. But then I think it was Domination after that, and that pretty much sealed the deal. And then I think it was Onset soon after that. By then it was like, I have a new favorite band, the one I've been talking about for the last 10 years. Still like you, Alice in Chains, but you've been fucking moved aside.
So for me, it was an inundation because I'm in this exploratory phase where there's so much stuff to look at. And because BAND-MAID didn't like grab me immediately, I'm over here. My second favorite band is Aldius. Love Aldius.
Wow.
And I was deep into everything that they were doing at that time. And BAND-MAID popped up. It was like, okay, I'll get to you eventually type of thing.
I can see that. It's pretty different, you know. It's all different kind of things. If you're really into one, because I found it like backwards as BAND-MAID. I did one baby metal video and it got blocked first. So then I went to BAND-MAID. And so really, I guess I had heard of baby metal before that through like Rob Zombie and shit like that, mentioning them. Never really listened to them. And the first one I did was Round Up Nightmare, which is a great fucking song and concert footage and everything. But I got blocked, and that was like my early, you know, doing anything with this channel. So I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, fine. I won't mess with them at all. So I listened to BAND-MAID. So they're really my introduction to the talent and skill that was just permeating, you know, Japan. And so that was like my launch point. So it was after that I found all these other bands. And so I guess the first taste, I guess, was not all of like Aldius is just a different thing. So when I heard them, I was like, it's cool. I prefer BAND-MAID. But you know, after more listens, you get used to that sound and how they all work together.
I couldn't get into Aldius. I still can't. I've tried. They had like 3 different singers, right? There's 3 different ones.
4 actually.
Yeah. Very tragic stuff. Yeah.
Very tragic. Oh, what happened with the singers with them? Because one of them got sick, right? Or
yeah. So Rami, the original one, has much more of a power metal voice. She left. Usually when these guys, it's all for health reasons of some sort. So Rami leaves, and Renault comes in, and she's the one that has the real breathy, kind of ethereal, the long bleach blonde hair. She has the most with their catalog. She was having some weird issues with her ear, where like something in her ear wasn't closing, so she always had kind of an echo and a reverb thing. So she left for health reasons, and then Reen came in, and Reen was there for about 1.5 years, and then she left for health reasons. I think hers was like anxiety and stuff. It was really hard for her. And then Maki Oyama has been filling in for them in the interim, but they don't officially have a singer right now. And Toki, I think, is having her second baby, so they're just kind of on hiatus. They post some stuff on social media, but no new music in the last 2 years.
I was wondering, because I haven't heard much about them except for the older songs that people have brough up, but I haven't really heard much that's going on with them. It's interesting. Is there a maid?
Peter hooked me up for a Renault concert. He got me all their gear. I've got a bag full of Renault shirts.
Is there a so Peter? What instruments do you play?
My main instrument is guitar, electric, which I started like when I was in 6th grade with my cousin. And then kind of a little bit from my sister, self-taught piano, play bass and drums. I try to sing. I don't know if I'm all that great. And then I used to write songs.
Sing Ryan a lullaby.
Right now.
Oh, Ryan, won't you stop crying? Everybody's gonna be dying, but not
Oh, man.
today.
That's wonderful.
It's time to wake up and drink from your cup. All right, we'll stop right there.
Man,
Oh,
that's
wait,
fantastic.
I was waiting for
On
an
the
opening.
spot.
Careful what you ask for with Peter. Peter, seriously.
I thought Ryan was gonna fall asleep anytime now.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
We just woke
We got
him
this
up.
recorded. I'm gonna go to sleep to that every night.
That's a little creepy. That's a little creepy.
I'm gonna remix it into like a hip hop beat and just take Peter's clip.
I want royalties. I want all $2 of those royalties.
Then it'll be labeled Maniac releases new hip hop beat. Oh man, that's
Fantastic.
who came up with it? We talked about it a little bit. It just came up a while ago, right? That name in general. Because I want to go back to that point.
Somebody in the comments was mentioning it actually. Like they
When
were,
you guys says the masters and princesses, you're right. When the band like kind of names their fans, it kind of you gravitate towards that, right? I would assume.
Mm.
So is
yes, but if hey, what's up, master? That's just weird for me to say to somebody
it's not.
else.
It's not weird for me to hear.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
get it.
weird
No.
for me to hear.
Yeah,
I
Ryan.
understand that.
Ryan, I was calling you princess the whole time. I mean, it was totally normal.
You see, there's a variation that I'm not cool with.
Like, what's up, Princess Ryan?
What's up, princess? I told you, stop calling me that.
At least in public.
Master. Yeah.
Oh, only in public. Not.
So anyway,
But to your question, I don't know the answer to that, man. It's been around for years, and I don't begrudge anybody who wants. I totally get it. I understand why it makes sense and why people like it. Just not my thing.
Yeah, no, I feel you. Did they
It's weird. Okay,
Go ahead.
it's weird because the admins of BAND-MAID Fans Cafe collectively are not into that term, and we will not wear it.
Will
I don't know
will
why.
you guys like ban someone if they posted in the chat or something, or like
No.
how serious is this?
It's not that serious.
I forgot what I was gonna ask you after that, but I completely went blank. And that's how that happens.
that's what we do.
That's what we do.
How
Oh,
about
I
a
remember.
lullaby from SJ?
I remember the Master and
No.
Princesses. Was that out the gate that they started calling the fans that?
Huh? It's
It's-
part of the
Yeah, it's part of the.
the mystique or the image. Peter, you want to go into that?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's all Miku. It's all Miku. It's all about the maid cafe. It's about really trying to give the best service and to sort of respect the people that you're serving. So yeah, I mean it all came from Miku's brain, and who am I to go against that? So but yeah, I mean that's why like they're called okujis. Like okujis are sort of these servings.
Oh, okay.
And it's supposed to be a time where masters and princesses are acknowledged and you're treated and you're taken care of as not royalty, but as someone that's really sort of lifted up. And I think the cool thing about BAND-MAID is that they really do that with their fans. It's like, it's an amazing thing that this band is so willing and so absolutely down to give everything they've got to their fans. And
I agree,
whenever
yeah.
I hear them talk, whenever I hear the way that they want to encourage us, the way that they want to kind of take part in our lives, like honestly, I've never felt like any other band has done this with their fan base.
It kind of
Yeah, I
leans
agree.
into the
That's
maid.
one thing.
Go ahead, Ryan.
That's one thing that was always kind of I kind of realized later, like, why do I love them so much? And then it's the music alone is enough, but then you take into account, like you're talking about, they really care and they express how they care. I literally try to think of like, what other band do I know of that I love that wrote at least a couple songs directly for their fans, just saying thanks.
Yeah.
I hope you're
Yeah.
okay. Fucking none.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and then, you know, just like you said, they work hard. They want to make sure they're doing their best. And there's so many other bands that we all know about, and one they may have opened up for recently that really don't seem to give a fuck about their fans. And they will ruin shows just because of straight up ego. And now, you know, it's never gonna
Guns
happen.
N' Roses.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why
So, you know,
people don't listen to him anymore. But what I was saying earlier was that it leans towards the maid effect, right? It kind of just goes hands in hand. It seems like,
Right.
because the whole
Yeah.
the master and princess. So it's a cool concept. I guess I never really dug deep into that, how they came up with that, and so this was just curious how that even came about. But it makes sense, and it seems like bands in Japan are really good about the whole storytelling. Well, some of them are, with like surrounding it with the band, and I think that's a cool thing to have. And it goes with their personality at the same time. Of course, I also think the stories have to fit the personality of the band. And like you guys are just saying, they kind of write songs for the fans. They're very giving to the fans, and like the way that they act, the way that they speak, everything you guys said kind of just goes together perfectly.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's personally why I feel so invested, and why I've kind of done some of the things that I've done in the past, is because I feel like they intentionally have given their fans so much. I felt like we should try to do what we can to give back. So I think a lot of my goals in terms of what I do as a fan is just what can we do to make these girls happy? What can we do to give back even just a fraction of what they've given to us with their music? And it's not just their music, but just it's who they are. Like there's this incredible bundle of like everything that they offer to their fans. It's pretty powerful stuff, I feel like. So
Yeah, the thing that you project on stage is what's going to carry over with fans. Even when, like with me working in the restaurant business, you could walk into a restaurant and then everybody would be positive, and you can tell that the person leading that, or a group of people that are leading that, are obviously positive. So you have a positive thing. So I kind of contribute to that. So when you're on stage, and if you're like that on stage, you're going to attract fans that are the same way and that are going to want to give back just as well. And I think that's what contributes to the community being so communal, actually communal, like actually willing to talk and talk with each other. It's interesting, and that's just what I did for a living. So that's why I always like kind of make those ties. I'm like, oh yeah, it's like the kind of same concept. We try to create the environment that you want to be in. Because if you have somebody that's not like Guns N' Roses, we were just talking about, that's attitude, comes off greedy, you attract bitter and cranky fans. Not all of them, of course, not all of them, but the ones that are staying with them are probably a little resentful, and probably would listen to any new bands and be like, oh, that's garbage, not give anything a chance, Okay, that's kind of how I see it. I don't know. What do you guys think?
no, that makes sense, man. Yeah, if you want, it just makes sense. You want a good, it's overall the outlook from the band is positive, and it's about working hard and working through issues you have, and accepting the fact that sometimes things are shitty, but you can get through them, and you can listen to the band and use that as a way to get through some things. And there's been other bands that could be seen as negative bands that helped me through some shit too in certain times, but this is the first time I've been so happy with the band, and then I realized, like, wow, listening to this band is actually like makes me feel better. Like if I don't listen to them for a few days, I know it. Like, what the fuck is my problem? Oh, I haven't had enough BAND-MAID today.
You're going through withdrawals.
Yeah, man, it's freaking crazy. I'm like, oh shit. Yeah, it'll change my mood. It's just so you're not gonna attract negative people if your message is so positive.
So let me ask you two guys, since this is your first time seeing them, and obviously both of you have been to multiple concerts and listened to all kinds of bands over the years, and I know that you had some idea of what the fan base was like going in, but when you went to your first show, were you like surprised at the dedication, the friendliness, or actually was there anything that was like caught you off guard, even though you thought you maybe were prepared?
Ryan, go ahead.
It was, I think, just more of what I expected. Like because I interact with fans a lot on my Discord. I'm very active on there, and So a lot of these people I met, and you know, it was the same person, because a lot of these people I talk to every day, and meeting these people in person and having somebody come up and say, "Hey, man, I'm so and so." I'm like, "Oh shit, yeah, oh cool, man. I've seen your comments," and meeting them, and then having no awkwardness. I mean, you're meeting somebody for this. There's that general awkwardness, but as far as communicating and being, everybody was exactly who they thought they were. So I wasn't really surprised, but I was uh maybe a little over maybe overwhelmed. Like, you have people that just made stuff and they're not selling it, they're just giving it to you. Here, I made this, I want you to have it. You know, you guys are part of that, and there's other fans that they made all sorts of things, and like, hey man, you got this, and if you had something to trade back, do it. It's just a really cool thing. And yeah, I don't know, it's probably the most generous group of fans I'd ever encountered. You know, we got people walking around. You need some water? I got some snacks. We'll hold your spot. You know what I mean? It's just a really cool place to be. And it happened over and over and over. It was pretty amazing.
That was the difference, I think, too, for me when I went to see Nemaphil first and then to BAND-MAID. Well, Nemaphil fans were awesome too, and we were all talking stuff, but it seemed like it was just more with the BAND-MAID crowd. I don't know if just because they've been around longer or what it is, but they were both friendly at both crowds, but it seemed different at the BAND-MAID concerts. It made me want to go to concerts, which I didn't think any band could make me want to go to concerts, because I've said before, I've never been a fan of going to concerts. I can love the band, I just never like the experience of going to a show, waiting in line. Especially, I was always by myself for the most part, and I was just like, I fucking hate this. But the thing that was shocking was, like, I was enjoying waiting at 10 in the morning all the way until 7 p.m. I'm like, why am I enjoying this? Normally, I'm like fucking pissed and cranky, and then I get in there, watch the show, I'm like, like, you know.
I've waited in lines with friends and been like just not enjoying it. You know, that's kind of, I guess, what I meant, and the same point you're making is you could leave your spot and go walk 100 feet away and talk to somebody else, and as opposed to different lines of different bands where you just don't get that.
Ryan's like, I'm bored talking to you. I'm gonna go talk to the other fan real quick.
I talk to you every day on Discord. I'm gonna find somebody I don't know. Nah.
Yeah, because a lot of
I'm sure you actually thought that.
a lot of the
no, but
go ahead.
No, like I think that was the cool thing for me too, is that in Japan I've been to 9 shows in Japan, and it's always been by myself. Like, I've never gone with a friend, because nobody else that I know knows BAND-MAID. And I think the good thing about the Japanese system is that, you know, you have a number, so basically you can come in like pretty much close to the showtime and then be whatever number you are and just walk in. Like, it's not like you are at the back of the line because you came late. But I think like the shows in Japan, like, it was just me and BAND-MAID and just me enjoying that moment, but that's it. But for me to go to LA, I mean, it was actually my first experience to interact with people that I had known over the years, like me meeting SJ for the first time again, like the other admin, like Chester, meeting other people again, like Vlad, even you guys. But I remember like a few years back, 2019, when they had gone to the States, like all these people were like, oh, I'm so thankful for all the BAND-MAID fans, and like, oh man, these guys are great. And I had no clue what that experience was. Like, that BAND-MAID fan community, like at a concert, I had no concept of, because I never experienced that. So LA was my first time too. So for me to actually be around with these guys, SJ always kind of being supportive and like just trying to take care of stuff, and like just us having stuff to do and meet people, talk to people, pass things out, do all these things. Like, it was really like, it wasn't a music experience. It was like a life relational, like, it's a full-on experience. So it's pretty crazy. Like, no, I'm incredibly grateful. Like, I am grateful like every day for the Fans Cafe group on Facebook. I'm grateful for like the admins that I work with, and they've definitely helped me stay sane like over the years. And even like in personal matters, like SJ and the other admin have helped me out a lot, and other people and other fans. So
awesome.
it definitely goes way beyond the music. It goes beyond just the girls. Of course, they're the main reason why, but no, like I am genuinely like fucking grateful every chance that I get to participate and that I get to offer something like to the fan community, because it's cool, you know, like it just it keeps me alive. It gives me sort of a reason to do things.
That's
So
great,
awesome.
man. You know, it's awesome. You guys you've been responsible for some previous iconic moments and recent iconic moments that people are going to see in these videos, live videos and fan cams that people are going to talk about with this the towels and surprising the band during their shows during Maj Night time. And it's that's going to be some things that people are going to see and kind of make them want to go to a show, I think, you know. And you guys you're a key part of that, and I think that's great. You're showing your love, and they understand that as love for them too. You know, it's all about you managed to have a good time, interact with them in a way that made them laugh and smile and kind of reciprocate that. I think it's really cool.
yeah, we did a good job. Good job, Scott.
Yeah.
I mean, SJ kicked
we-
off my entire
Go ahead, go.
touring experience, man. Like, I got to thank SJ a lot. I would not be in LA without him. And that kind of started the whole snowball effect, because I only planned to go to Philly and to Aftershock. I was like, all right, let me get the full experience in Philly. Then when I went to Nemephila, I met SJ there, and he was like, hey, you want to go to the LA show? It's Misa's birthday. And I'm like, sure. And then after that, it just, started going. So shout out to you, man. Like, really, he
told me before they ever announced the tour that, hey, if you ever make it out to LA, if they ever come here, let me know. I got you covered. I'm like, shit.
All three of us had our tickets covered by SJ.
That's true. I hadn't thought about that.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty awesome, because I think you're making the community tighter, like, and being able to do that when you appreciate it, because now it just makes the experience greater for everyone overall, because everyone's just so happy to be there. And you know, like I said, it led to me going to more and then more, and it just kind of added and digging deep. So I appreciate it, like, forever grateful for it. But what were we gonna say before I said that?
Oh, I was just gonna say, but because Ryan, I liked the reason I reached out to you, if you can get your ass here, because I saw how you were emotionally impacted by the BAND-MAID videos, and that's me. I'm like, I'm that dude. Without having a YouTube channel, I'm like, no, seriously. I mean, you get emotional. I'm like, yes, I understand. You get it. So that's why I'm like, I will give you a ticket. And then at Nemophila, I meet Ryan and, I'm sorry, not Ryan, Alan. Alan bought me a beer and a half. He bought me a beer that I got to drink, and then he spilled half of his on me. So it was like a beer and a half. And I told, hey man, I got an extra one. If you can get out here, you can have it. And Peter, before it is even announced, I'm like, I got you, man. You get here. I want to meet you. We're going to party. Here's a ticket. So, and then Vlad was the other one. I bought 5, and that's where they all went.
That's just great, dude. And then, you know, from you did that for us. And then, that was the only show I was going to go to. And I was going to, when they announced the tour, I saw where the shows were. I'm like, there's nothing near me. So wherever I go, I'm going to have to travel. I show my wife, I'm like, pick one of these dates and we'll go. I was going to make him go. And she's like, well, if we're going to do it, let's make it special. We'll go to LA. I'm like, all right, cool. And then, you know, it worked out that way. But then, as there was so much time in between when it's announced and when we could go, then somebody out in New York's like, hey, if you can make it out here, I got you a ticket. I'm like, oh man. So, you know, my wife knowing, she's like, you know, you got time. We haven't taken vacation. Go ahead. And then it was like the snowball effect, like, okay, well, I'm going to be here. Hey, if you're going to be there, I got a place you can stay. And so, you know, it was, I don't travel much. And when I do, it's usually with my family, like in a car. And this was like flying out there, and I had to, you know, me organizing stuff probably isn't the best situation without my wife handling shit. So I had all these people, these fans of the same band I'm a fan of, and they're like, hey, you know, you can stay with me, or you can stay with my brother. And then from here, you know, it was easy for me because the fans are so freaking cool. I always had somewhere to go, somebody to hang out with, a way to get somewhere. It was I don't think I'd had that experience with any other band I decided to follow around, you know.
Yeah, this
I
is
don't know if we ever will.
this is the only
Probably
band that
not.
I've seen this many times live ever in my life, and
Mm-hmm.
all in 1 month is just wild. I never saw that. Never
And being
saw it coming.
entertained every time, not like, okay, I've seen this band. It was just like,
Yeah, exactly. Because also there was different people at every show too. Not only
Yeah.
was there like, you know, there's some people that were going to a lot of shows, but there was different people every single show. Everyone they went to, like leading from the Nickelodeon thing to all the way in Aftershock. It was just everything was every set was completely different. It's so awesome that they changed up certain songs and stuff to keep
Yeah.
it fresh, and then they changed up Imaginai time here and there. And then if you were there for the birthday shows, fuck, those were great because you had the extra stuff going on, you know, like
yeah,
the
that was
LA
awesome.
show. I can't believe I waited so long to talk about it because that was one of the most unique shows out of all of them that I saw, you know. That was probably, I gotta say, one of my favorite ones that I was at because it was just the everybody there, the fans giving away stuff and talking with everybody. It was a good time in general.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. LA was a blast. I was dead tired. I had like 3 hours of sleep the night before, just dying from jet lag. I was like, I am not going to make it through this day. And I was seriously like on my last thread for like probably 10 hours. Just I did not think it was going to go, but then we get inside and then thankfully I had SJ next to me so he could kind of support me with the head banging and just go at it. So God, it was a good show. Yeah,
That was a great show.
it was a good show.
I did not expect to get up to the front either. I was like, because I was freaking out. I couldn't get to the show. I was trying to get there. They gave away my rental car. I couldn't get an Uber, so I ended up busing there. I'm sitting there messaging Nix. I'm like, I'm trying to get there early because my plan was to be there at 5 a.m. But my flight got delayed to the next day, and I was like freaking out. He's like, no worries, man. It's fine. I'm like, I'm just trying to get there. And finally made it there. So I'm like, I think it was like 50th in line. I'm like, damn it. I really wanted to get up front. But at that show, we got lucky because everybody went towards the merch. And I'm like, fuck that. I went straight to the rail. And I'm like, wow, I got really close. I'm like, I'm so happy. A bunch of people got stopped at the merch because I got my merch in Aftershock because the line was much shorter. I just waited until it died down. Of course, they had better merch at the shows. They had more selection, but I didn't care. I was like, skipping all that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think at a BAND-MAID show, it's all about BAND-MAID.
Yeah.
But you got to be there. You got to be there.
Peter touched on something when he was talking about being just dead tired and then being completely awake once you get inside. I've kind of coined this. It's a mathematical formula, and the first number is a variable. In my case, it's 51, 18, 80. You're 51 before you go in, you're 18 during the show, and you're fucking 80 when it's over because you just spent everything you had, and then you crawl back to your room.
Pretty much, yeah.
How was
Luckily,
it?
that was my only show. Yeah.
I could not have done these guys that did San Francisco and LA. Oh hell no. I don't know how.
Yeah.
Just making it there after the show.
See, at least at the like New York, New Jersey, and Boston, they were all close together. So I learned that the train system is pretty efficient. But luckily, Dusty, thanks for helping me out. He drove me to those shows, and it was awesome because like everything was right there. So I was like, this is pretty easy to get around. I didn't realize, and I found out because I also lost my ride to New York, and I had to take a train there. So I got a last-minute train. By the way, super cheap, guys. If you ever need to travel, it's pretty well. So I was coming from like upstate New York, so I had to like take a train down to New York City, but it took me right to the venue. I got so lucky, and after that, it was just set up. I didn't realize how well connected it was there, so I was like, oh, this is easy to go to all the shows if you're because I'm thinking like Philly's like far away, right? I'm like, no, everything's like right there. There's trains to all for them, so it's easy to like to ping them all.
No, it was cool going from place to place. I never been. I'd been to see DC when I was very young, but not to experience it this way. So all the cities were new, and I've never been to New York City. I've never been to Baltimore, Philly, anywhere. So just so much, man, to do, and it's fucking great experience. It's like this wonderful experience capped off with being able to see them at the end of the day.
Yeah. Peter, what was the biggest difference between seeing BAND-MAID in Japan and seeing BAND-MAID over here?
A lot more white guys.
No way, really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, if I compare the latest show, the Okuji, that I went to in Japan, it was the pre-US Okuji in Japan tour, which was like what, 5 shows.
Yeah.
But with the restrictions in Japan still in place, like you can't scream, you can't shout, like none of that. You can't even like have a conversation, or you're not supposed to. So your mask is on the whole time. And I mean, going to a BAND-MAID concert and basically just clapping the hell out of, your hands and kind of pointing a lot and like shaking your hands and not being able to actually vocalize anything was madness. Like it.
I can't imagine.
That would
dude,
be
just
frustrating as
going,
hell, man.
I can't imagine just doing that.
Like you're in a room full of mimes who are basically just like tweaking, like
trying to express themselves so much through dance.
I kind of want to see the videotape of that, like of just the fans going like, like no sound,
trying to express how much they want to yell.
Because if you just imagine if you just see the fans, not the band, no music playing, and it's just like that's all you see.
If Miku had been recording with her phone, like into the crowd, and when she walks off into, it was. So I mean that was basically a one-off because again the restrictions are still in place. Hopefully, God, I'm hoping that soon we'll be able to have our mask down and like make some noise, but it doesn't seem that way.
Did you ever see them without restrictions?
Yeah, that was the only one where there were restrictions. Everything prior, which was the last show prior to that, was the Shibuya Line Cube. Do you guys know that show?
Yeah.
That was the one they did in February. It was like February 13th and 14th. It was a 2-nighter back to back. That was the one that went out on Blu-ray DVD. And that was where they announced Budokan.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good show. It was the first time where they went to that size and that scale with like the lights and with like the screens with what they were doing. So it was pretty cool. But like I went to a special acoustic session. It was like an acoustic / Q&A, which was only for like a few hundred like fans that you could win by lottery. So I actually flew to Tokyo for 1 day and then came back just for that show. So that was cool. But for me, like I love the intimate club setting.
When was that show?
That was like March, April of 2000. Was it 2019? God, I think so. Yeah. It was 2019.
So before the US tour.
Yeah. So the only recording they have of that's available to the public is the Smile, the acoustic Smile version.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're sitting down and they're just kind of doing that little thing.
Right on.
Man. So I went to that, but the other shows, it was great. It's great. I mean, it is fun because you kind of have like these sort of unison moments where like all the Japanese fans kind of know what to do. And in America, the funny thing is that in America, everyone says, hey, but in Japan, people go, what?
Yeah.
So if you actually watch some of the recordings of the US tour, you see Psyche's mouth going, and then she kind of and then she kind of stops and goes, "Oh shit, these guys aren't saying what they're going, hey." Yeah.
She's like, okay, let me change.
Is that sort of like the hey in Japan? Because that's what like the guitar spin. That's always what they're kind of hollering to in between songs and stuff.
Yeah, it that's what it seems like. So
Right on.
For me, it sounds like they're saying, what?
What, motherfucker?
What?
So I got a question for you guys. So the new EP that BAND-MAID released caused some controversy
Influencer.
with BAND-MAID fans, to the point where some BAND-MAID fans were like, I'm giving away all my merch and going through extreme extents of I'm not a fan anymore.
I don't understand.
I just want to hear you guys' thoughts on it. I'm now in love with the EP. Of course, when I first heard it, I was on the fence of liking or not, but then what I realized was how awesome is that, like, you know, they're all in their sound now. Like, they're getting their actual sound I think they want or closer to it. Because I was a big fan of Unseen World, so going into that EP, now I love the EP. There's like one song I can't remember the name of the track, but Isle was the one that really sold me on it.
Oh yeah, Isle is amazing.
Yeah. So I was gonna ask you guys, what do you guys think about that with those fans that are just like, I'm done getting rid of all my merch and I'm out? Do you think that created a big like division with BAND-MAID fans, or they lost fans because of that? What do you guys think about that whole debacle, I guess?
SJ?
Oh yeah, sure. Throw it to me.
I got thoughts.
So there wasn't a big stink, at least on our Facebook group. There's a few people who were bitching and complaining, but no more than anything from in the past. And personally, I would even call it a beef. It's Konami uses that real kind of shrill effect. She uses it a lot. I look at that as like a strong spice that you would put in the food that you want a little bit of, but she just spreads that shit all over the fucking album, man. It's everywhere. But it's not a deal breaker for me. That's just a little personal preference. The EP is fantastic. I think my favorite song on there is Unleash. It just, from the first note, it punches you in all 5 of them are punching you in the face, and it's just off to the races. And the video is cool too.
Ryan, you said you had thoughts, or Peter,
Yeah,
you want to go?
it's interesting because the first few dissenters when it came out, I think I've seen every one of them change their mind, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it is pretty fucking awesome." Like, yeah, I told you from the start. Most of them, I think it's just so different. But what got me was I started, after listening to it on its own many times, I just put it in with all the other albums and listen to it, and it fits. You know what I mean? It's not like jarringly different. There's obvious differences audibly from how they recorded and stuff, but it's still BAND-MAID.
I think,
and I even commented about the harmonizer being used, but it's grown on me and it's become like a signature thing. And there's some songs when I saw live to where I thought she's using it and she wasn't. She's just playing octaves like a goddamn freak.
Yeah, she does that a lot. She does those octave chords a lot, and
she loves octaves. Yeah,
I think it's a good thing that it created those comments, honestly, because it's something when you sit there and go, I don't know, but you still keep listening. That's how you get something new to cross over. You get that new thing to cross over. So I always say there's like a fence of like, you can't go too weird, but you can't go to like, because then you're going to lose everybody. You got to be like right in the middle, pushing the boundary right there to keep people in there, right? And for me, the songs I already liked before that, like Corellium, was on that EP, and then he had Isle. So that's where I was like, all right, keep listening, you know, because I do like this. I don't know why I'm on the fence with other ones. And after that, I was like, no, I fucking love this. But I think that's perfect. I think they played that boundary perfectly on that EP, and they're introducing a new sound, because I can't think of a single band or songs that sound like anything on that one. There's like little snippets of like inspiration and stuff, but overall the sound of that EP, find me an EP that sounds like that, because I haven't heard one yet, is my point. So I think that's really cool that they push like this new style of how to record hard rock, is how I kind of took it. And I think that's awesome, because they're like pushing it to another level, which I think old school hard rock bands just like dropped off and failed at doing after a while, after the 90s, you know, in my opinion.
Well, there's been some recent interviews, and they ask them about, you know, the recording process. They always get asked about it, and it's changed. You know, like they used to get together and play, and then or practice or whatever, and then they couldn't because of COVID. So they developed a way to write and create separately, and they realized that it was a very, very productive way to do it. And now you have, I mean, Konami probably hasn't changed how she writes music, but it's a lot of starts with piano, and then now we find that Akane and Misa both actually compose a lot of their parts on keyboard, and that surprised me about Misa. And once I learned that, I was like, you know what, that's pretty smart, because it takes you out of your comfort zone. Like when I pick up a guitar, I do the same shit every time. It's just you get up, you pick it up, you play the same stuff to warm up, whatever, and you end up putting yourself in a spot. I sat down, I have a piano, I sat down at it. I don't play it. I'm not a piano player. My neighbor gave me one. So I have it, and I sat down. I'm like, okay, you know what notes sound good together. Fucking come up with something. So I start playing chords that sound good and a melody, and then I picked up my guitar. I'm like, oh, that's what it is. You know, I didn't know what I was doing. I just wrote a song for a song, as opposed to making something out of the shit I already know. And it's just they're doing that actively in order to be creative. You know, Konami said she wasn't listening to music to get inspired like she was. She's just coming up, you know, more on her own instead of drawing from this or that. Which, I mean, everybody, if you play and you're writing songs, you always listen to things you like. You know, that's where you get ideas from initially. So it's just it's a neat thing to see them evolve as musicians, and what comes out of that is just an amazing collection of songs that were so extraordinary that people like refused it at first. What the fuck is this? And then they just grew, like Alan was saying, you're drawn back into it. You want to keep listening to it because it's not necessarily like love at first sight, but you're interested. So you keep going back and like, oh, okay, now I get it.
And then now if they come out with another EP that's similar sound, I guarantee people are like, oh my God, I love this. And it's going to be, now they're, you know, like kind of like with going from Unseen World was a little bit of it. Unleashed was like all out with it.
I don't want to hear something where I hear everything I expect to hear.
That would be boring to me. Yeah. I think it would be really boring because I had a fight with myself at first. I was like, that's why I was like so quiet when we were watching it, because I'm like, no, Alan, this is different, and you should like give it that chance, because at the same time, I'm going to be that same guy that's complaining about them playing the same shit all the time. So like, why the fuck are you having these thoughts? Like, like, you know, that's when I listen to music, sometimes that happens. Like, I'm going to be over here going like, why does it sound like that? I'm like, well, you don't want it to sound like that, Alan. Remember, you love like, wait, what? So it's like an ongoing like battle for me sometimes when I'm like listening to music. And I always forget about that. I think a good example of a band that I used to love was Protest the Hero. They changed it up, and I'm like, oh, this is not like the older album. Well, guess what? Just recently, I went back and listened to that, and I'm like, giving it a chance because of BAND-MAID, because I did give BAND-MAID a chance, but I didn't give Protest the Hero the chance. I just fucking wrote it off. I'm like, it doesn't sound like the first 3 albums. I'm like, you know what? Let me go back and listen to it. And I'm like, holy shit, this is actually phenomenal. I was like,
that's the other side effect of this band. I went back and listened to bands that I dismissed.
Yeah.
And I went back to give them another shot. There's other bands that like some Japanese bands that I've heard that I just didn't like initially. And then after listening, I found myself liking the same type of thing in a BAND-MAID song. I'm like, well, what am I doing liking it here, but not liking this other band? So I go back and check out some shit. I'm like, all right. This is cool. And then all of a sudden I have like 5,000 fucking bands I got to check out. It's like impossible.
Have you guys had anything similar to happen with you guys? Like any like side effects like of that nature? Listening to BAND-MAID?
No, not really side effects with BAND-MAID. I mean, I really tend to be kind of an all-in, like all one, all-in kind of guy. So like for me, even back when I graduated college, some guy turned me on to the Beatles.
Mm-hmm.
And my first time trying to listen to the Beatles, it was just like, oh, it's so old. Right?
Yes.
So
great observation.
But this is I was actually touring around Europe after I graduated. I basically had a couple of weeks in London. I went to Hyde Park and I bought like a couple of their best of CDs. And I spent like a lot of time just sitting in the park, listening to the Beatles, you know, with my nice portable CD player, looking at their lyrics and just listening and saying, okay, what is it about this band? And giving it time and just saying, okay, what is there? Like, what actually is there? And then realizing, holy shit, this band is amazing. And then once my ears adjusted to that, like, I mean, I absolutely adore BAND-MAID, but the Beatles will always be number one for me because of what they did to me music-wise. I mean, they opened me up to like the beauty of lyrics and what lyrics could be like. It could be art. They taught me about production, arrangement, just about originality, just stepping out of your comfort, doing something different. I used to read up on them a lot. So it was like trying to take different influences, you know, not containing yourself to anything, not even just to music, but like letting everything around you to be willing to let anything around you affect your music. So it could be a book you read, it could be a show that you watch, it could be like a coloring book you saw at a store, you know, it could be like anything. It could be like, you know, it could be this. Yep. So, but I think with BAND-MAID, it just reinforced that. With BAND-MAID and just the progressive, I think, evolution music-wise, I just realized like, yeah, I love this band because they are willing to go the distance. They are willing to leave comfort. They're always trying to push a little bit more and do something a little bit different. And I feel like a lot of that has to be attributed to Konami because I was doing this this tribute for their 7th anniversary and going through like all their tweets, trying to find photos and things that I could kind of compile together. And even back in the day, Konami would have these tweets of like, oh, I want to be a guitar god. Like, oh, I want to be a great songwriter. Like, oh, I want to do this. Oh, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, geez, like, who is this girl? Like, she was always just had this mentality of like, I want to do this. I want to do that. And I feel like her attitude, her musicality, and her sort of otherworldly sensibilities, because she's not all human, I feel like. That sounds weird, but like, I don't think she's all human. But she really, I think, affected everybody else music-wise and pushed them to really achieve something beyond what they're comfortable with. Because I feel like Misa could have easily just stayed with like that alternative, like vintage rock feel, like everything she grew up on. Yeah, I really think like she's the one that really kind of is the impetus behind everyone else. They're like, yeah, we need to kind of keep up with Konami and see where she's going. So,
like to expand on that, BAND-MAID is the accessibility is insane because anybody who with no musical knowledge can pick, oh, that's a cool song. That chorus is really, really catchy. But if you've got musical experience, just beneath the surface is a freaking prog band. And there's so much going on. And we talk about this in the fandom where it's like, we listen to it and it's like a tidal wave. It washes over us. And then we go back and we start peeling the onion. Okay, this time I'm going to just listen to Misa. This time I'm just going to listen to Akane. And it is like going from black and white to freaking Technicolor because there's so much going on. And it will, it's like Peter said, it's like inhuman. It's hard to process.
It's ridiculous.
When you take one instrument out of a BAND-MAID song, it's completely weird. Like was how I imagine if this bass wasn't there. I'm like, ugh. Like, like, because you need I feel like you need every integral part of the instruments just for it to sound the way it does all together, like you said. So that's what makes it so good to dig deeper. Because if, even because some of the lead lines, I'm like, oh man, if those weren't there, that would not sound like this in my headphones. Or
there's some older songs that are definitely riff based. You can pick out the riff and just play the riff. Their newer stuff, it's hard to do that. Like you need the whole. You need the whole thing to get that feeling. It's frustrating for a guitarist. You can't just be like, I'm just gonna learn this riff. You're like, I need to learn 15 different goddamn parts.
Warning is a great
It
example.
it never repeats.
No, it's
I don't know how they remember all this bull.
maddening.
If you, when I was learning Warning on guitar, when you play just Konami's leads, it doesn't make any fucking sense whatsoever. It doesn't even sound like a coherent song. I remember I was playing it. My wife comes and she's like, "What are you playing?" I'm like, "I'm playing the lead parts to this." She's like,
did you drop your guitar?
She's like, "What song is that?" And then I played it for her. She's like, "Oh, I like that song." I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Like nobody could tell. like
Yeah,
she's just a
nuts.
casual listener, but like it was just funny because she's like, "What the hell?" She'd even like couldn't even pick up what song it was. It was pretty funny.
I remember, Ryan, when you got the when you got the score for Unseen World and you listened to Warning for the first time, your ears were smoking. You're like, what the fuck is going on? Because you take Psyche off the top of that, and that's like a whole different
You shouldn't work. It shouldn't work.
thing.
Where the
You hear
vocals are
so
so
much stuff you had no
prominent.
idea was there.
Yeah, she sings so much more than most other vocalists on songs. The percentage of vocals is more than any other else. So you think you take that away and you'd be losing part of it. You do, but there's still enough there. You're like, what? Yeah, there's
it's just
so much.
it's like it's buried under the mix. Like when they turn it up and you hear things, you're like, oh shit, that was there. And then you hear it and you're like, this song could basically live on its own without vocals. It really can.
It's insane.
So
shouldn't work.
It's
On top of that, though, Psyche's vocal lines. This is Unseen World when I was putting up just lead videos, just copying the vocals only. I realized I'm like, Psyche's vocals are literally guitar solos. Guitar leads. Pretty much. I didn't realize how many she's pretty much doing sweeps with her voice at certain parts, and it kind of
let me ask you this in relation to that, Alan. Sometimes I've messed with playing vocal lines on guitar for different songs, and when you do that, you realize a lot of it is just bouncing back and forth between a couple notes. When you hear the vocal line, it's like, that's nice. When you play it on an instrument, it's really simple. Her vocal lines aren't like that.
Hers are not like that. That's what's surprising. The only other singer I've done that with is Eddie Vedder. I was blown away playing the vocal lines. That's what's so crazy because I did a Green Day song, which I know they're simplistic, but I was a huge fan back then.
No, they're good. They're good.
I did the vocal lines, and I'm like, oh, I could figure it out pretty quickly. I did Psyche's. It literally took me 2 hours. I can't remember which song it was to get it down because it was so intricate. And even when she does jump to the same note, it's a different octave. I think of her vocals like Misa's bass lines. You know how she's playing the same note, but she's playing it all over the place? Well, Psyche does that in those chorus lines. And if you watch me play it, it looks like I'm playing a lead. It straight up looks like a lead solo. So that's why when you have her on there and you have the complex music underneath, you're like, oh my God, there's so much going on. It's because the vocals are really making it. It's like adding a whole extra solo on top of it.
I think that's the thing about BAND-MAID's music is that it doesn't sound like classical music, but there's a classical sensibility in terms of sections and parts.
The arrangement quality.
Yeah. And the way that I think of BAND-MAID's music, the way that I process it in my head is that it's controlled chaos. It's methodical madness. There are these things that, again, that shouldn't work, and that sometimes you're like, wait, does it? And then you listen, you're like, oh shit, it just misses it. It just swerves under, it just goes by.
It's like the starlings when they're flying around in the sky in a huge massive birds, and they just somehow make this beautiful visual thing, and they don't crash into each other and fall down.
That's actually a good. That's a good.
They're a force of nature.
Yeah.
They're a force of nature.
That's why when I I'm doing so Miku writes these also, which is even mind-blowing in itself when I discover Miku writes all these lyrics and stuff. I'm like, she's like one of my favorites.
Okay, this is
I'm doing Sayanakadori, right? And I can actually cover that song with just guitars, which is amazing because I can never do that with another band. I would have to have a singer sing it. So that's how intricate the vocal lines are, because it's interesting enough that I can put it into lead form and it'll still be good. You know what I mean? But anyways, go back to Peter.
So one of the questions that I have always had not ever since BAND-MAID, but like for quite a long time, is how much of the melody is there from Konami and how much of it is affected by the lyrics that Miku gives, and then the nuances and changes that are added because of those lyrics, as well as Psyche's input. I'm so curious, like, I want to see and hear the vocal melodies pre-Miku and Psyche and then post. I'm so curious how that happens, you know? Like that to me is one of the biggest mysteries that it drives me nuts. I'll listen to me like, is that from Konami or is that from Miku or is that from someone else? Like did they add that? Did they add this? Like what, when, you know?
I think the answer is going to be yes, you know, to all that. The only thing Konami ever says is that all they do is make my song better, like from what I started with. And that's just an incredibly humble thing to do when you're a genius anyway. But they've all, you know, I imagine we've all read the interviews where they talk about it, and like, yes, she would write the entire song, melody lines, drums, the bass. She has said, I don't really worry about that because Misa's always been a genius. But you know, you have Akane, who was a top tier drummer, actually trying to play the parts that Konami wrote out. Right. And if she couldn't, she'd be like, I can't do that. And Konami would be like, yes, you can. You know, but to have somebody at that level respect her writing so much that they would just try to do it when you know they're capable of coming up with their own stuff. Yeah. So but then you also know that Konami has said, you know, well, yeah, of course, if you feel it needs changed, fine. You know, they ask me out of respect, but of course I want them to make it better for them.
I remember that.
There's your overall architecture, but they all want the song to be the best. And then what they defer to Psyche if she's like, no, it's not good enough. They go fucking work on it, man. And they go work on it. And that's an amazing thing.
And to answer you, Peter, I think they try all different styles of writing. They have to have such a different wide spectrum of music across so many albums. Like Ryan was saying, for this newer one, right, they were secluded, so they're writing apart, and that's why you got what we got with Unleash, and I think the End of Unseen World, some of the songs on that too, compared to when they were together. I'm sure they have songs where they wrote all on the spot, and I'm sure they have songs where they just try different things. Because I know for me, when I write lyrics, I write it through leads. Konami could be doing the same thing with Miku. She could be writing the lead line, because I'm telling you, when you learn the vocals on guitar, it is a solo, pretty much. It is like a lead or a solo. So I have a feeling it's something along those lines.
It's interesting to me to be presented a melody and then write lyrics and still try to hold to that melody. That's just it's neat.
That's true, because you got to find the right words. Going back to the Beatles comment, sometimes certain words don't sound as good as other words. I learned that too with the Beatles, so it was interesting you mentioned that. Or if you listen to a song like Black Hole Sun by Soundgarden, that song means absolutely nothing. Chris Cornell said it's just the words was fun. It was like art. Like it can be art in that way.
Sounds really good.
So basically every Rob Zombie song ever written.
But you know how many people had different meanings for Black Hole Sun, and Chris Cornell's like, I liked how the words sounded, and I'm like, that's another way to write. So there's just infinite possibilities, and I have to believe that BAND-MAID just dabbles in all of them.
No, I agree with that. Like I agree, like that. There's you know, an insane amount of different processes and ways to get to the end product, but I think ultimately what I'm asking for is BAND-MAID. I want a super deluxe album with like 20 different takes.
I want the demo,
from where it started.
I want the next step. Dude, I want to know that too so bad.
Can you imagine an album of demo and takes and variations? Like,
no, my brain would explode. Like it really.
Dude, I would love to hear just any demo. Hear how it's presented to the band. Here's a song I wrote, and be like, this is the same fucking thing we heard. You know what I mean? That's fucking crazy.
And we haven't even talked about Miku. If you go back to like Conqueror, we get a little hint, and then it's really apparent in Unseen World and now in Unleash. Miku has started doing all these little bird calls and yells and little back harmonies. It just adds so much more. It's crazy.
That is so key for so many songs for me. Yes. When I think of the song, I think of her parts, which is how you pick any part out of any one of these things is it's up to everybody's individual brain how they process things. But for me, sometimes it's like Black Hole. That is one of the most insane songs I've ever heard. And there's so many things to pick out, but her ad libs and stuff in there are what I think about first. They're so fucking perfect, and it adds so much to it. It's
like
just,
I think what they've basically accomplished is making the vocals into another instrument. So it's like,
yes,
I think like my mentality used to be, oh, the instrumentals and then the vocals separate. But I think what BAND-MAID has done now is they've accomplished this, like this super saiyan, like everybody is an instrument.
Yes,
everybody is basically integral and like being fitted in and being kind of like interwoven. And so I think, yeah, I agree. Like Scott is saying, I mean, the vocals, like the cat calls, all the little shouts. I mean, the background vocals, the counter melodies. Like for me, listening to a song like Warning and all the vocals going on in the background, along with Psyche singing the main vocals with everything else, is just, oh, it's like fucking Braveheart in a song. Like, you know, like charging out into the battlefield, I feel like. It's such a beautiful song.
Yeah, there's a lot of people on my Discord that got some software where they could take out the vocals or take out the guitar or whatever, and like, hey, listen to just the vocals on this song. And you're just like, I could just listen to this, it would be fine. Just with this, or here's just the bass, and you're just like, what? This is insane. I learned About Us, and it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to learn on bass. And it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to learn, a fucking ballad. And the bass was like one of the most complicated things I've ever had to learn. I'm like, a measure at a time. Okay, here's this part.
Every song
next
with like, well, of course she's in every song. Every bass line in all those songs is ridiculous. It never, if talking about not repeating, at least Konami like will come back to most of the riff and there's a change at the end. Sometimes. Yeah. But Misa, there's nothing repeating. Like it's insane. Like it takes so long to learn the bass lines for those songs
properly. Yeah,
or properly.
Imply things and get away with it.
Because I was following on BAND-MAID Prime, right? I have the video and I would slow it down and like, all right, I'm like, oh shit, she changes it again. I thought she was gonna play that note again, but no, she jumped here. Like, and for me, I like to play it exactly like the person. I probably shouldn't. I'll probably get songs done faster if I just like play it. But I don't know. I like the feel of how she slides back and down up the neck with that, and it's just crazy how all those sound like leads. Again, it's just like more like technical stuff within the song when you dive deep. But the member I gravitate to the most, which a lot of people know, is Miku. I love like every single song she does. I was wondering if you guys had a member that you guys gravitate towards, maybe more so. For me, it's just like, you know, there's always going to be a person who like, it's just relatability, I think. Like for me, I feel it with every single song she comes out with. And how about you guys? I know we're all going to say all of them, but there's always one that you kind of like focus in more on, or like the music or what they're doing. And I'm curious what it is for you guys.
I think SJ's is very clear.
I just didn't wear the shirt today.
Yeah. But why though? You know, go ahead, SJ.
Man,
who is it? Who is it?
It's Misa. Yep. In case anybody was wondering. God, you know what? I think it is the fact that she's so demure and calm and quiet, you know, the barefoot assassin. But she comes out and she slays you with confidence and skill, and then she's gone. It's just that we were talking the other day that she's now starting to show more of her playfulness and her personality. Like you look at the Homogenize from LA and Dallas, where she's playing around with the towel and kind of being cute and funny. She's always been just very visually in the background, but musically right in your face. And it's kind of that dichotomy of, how can I say this without it sounding not the way I want it to sound? I'm going to stick with that dichotomy of visually reserved but musically crushing.
I was gonna say with Misa, something I noticed going through my live footage, I didn't realize until like later on. I don't, everyone makes like a slight mistake and fixes it, but I did not hear anything from Misa the entire tour. I can't recall a moment where there was a little nothing. Even if Akane accidentally missed something, Misa was always in the pocket. And I didn't realize that until I started watching all the footage back. I'm like, holy shit, I don't think she ever made a single mistake.
Because a wrong bass note is a lot different than a wrong guitar note. A wrong bass note's like,
yeah.
Stands out,
Oh, G sharp, shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like when you guys are at the shows, like I thought about that, because they're playful about it. Like, oh, that kind of fudged that guitar note, but like Konami makes it work and it's awesome. You don't really think about it, but until you like take a step back and watch the footage, and then like there was one song I didn't even realize they made a mistake until watching the footage. I was like, what the hell? I didn't even see that happen. And I talk about it in a video how they're so good at covering it up when you're there live. It's really after the fact, when you watch it. But then I was realizing, I don't think I've heard Misa at all. Not even one note. If you guys can find one, let me know. Because I was like, at one point, I was just like, wait a second. Because I was watching it all back, like, let's see it. I can't find anything, like, at all. Like, not even, like, a little bit, which is extremely impressive to be like that. She could be, like, she probably does do studio work, but that's the studio musician, like, quality right there. Not to be, because those musicians have to go in there and get it all down in, like, one take. They only have like 15 minutes. They can't mess around.
When you're the coolest person in the room, no matter what room it's in, you don't fuck up. I think that's just what's going on with Misa. She's just the coolest person in the room.
But that's why you're the coolest person in the room.
Yeah, it's cyclical.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's like, I think Misa's the kind of person where she'll be in the corner practicing for like 5 hours a day and not say anything about it. Like, you don't know like how many hours and how many riffs and how many like scales like she's gone through to get to where she is. And because she's so quiet, because she is so demure, because she doesn't like get in your face, I mean, I think that contrast makes it all the more impressive with what she gives to you versus what she portrays.
Yeah, that's what when I read that, she said, well, I wrote all my stuff for Unleash on keyboard and then just figured it out on bass.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's fucking awesome. Well, we'll figure out where it is, and it's, still obviously Misa doing what she does, but it's just, it's inspiring, man. It's inspiring.
She takes the hard road too, because she could, most of the stuff she does, she could do in the first 7 or 8 frets, but she spends so much time south of 12.
Yeah, it just sounds better.
Every other measure.
It changes the tonal quality because of the thickness of the strings.
Yeah,
dude, I just re-recorded one of my own songs and I played it on one fucking string because of her. I'm like, I wonder, let's see what it's all about. Because I was staying right there in one area, and I went up and I'm like, holy shit, that sounds so much fucking better.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
And what about you, Peter?
Inspiring and changing.
Yeah. So this shirt, if you know Misa, this shirt is actually a tribute to her as well. This is on the back of her pick.
Yep.
And let's see. This is one of my favorite photos of her.
Yeah.
Hold on. Don't fall. Please don't fall. Please don't fall.
I think you're missing a poster too.
Signed button of Misa, and then her pick also. Yeah, no, it's Misa. I think I mentioned like earlier on, like the parts that really just stood out to me were her parts in Real Existence and in YOLO. And this actually can be attributed to the Beatles because one of my favorite bass players is actually Paul McCartney. Because what Paul McCartney did was he took the bass and made it into something incredibly melodic. So when you listen to a bass line like Taxman, it's amazing what he does and the way it changes up like later on in the song. So for me, like I love the concept of the bass holding it down, but also being able to like bringing a counter melody to the rest of the composition. So for me, those two songs were the ones that really just said, "Holy shit!" Like this is, it's simple, but it's so sweet. It is so good. And just listening to all the songs, I mean, everything that she did on bass, I was like, I loved it. And just, I think her sensibilities really go back to, again, sort of hard rock. There's vintage qualities. She stays a lot on the pentatonic, and you can hear that. And so for me, like that's my roots too. So when I hear her play bass, it basically it vibrates at the same frequency that I think my musical heart does. So I love every member, every single one is just amazing in their own rights. And I'll have certain days where I'll like, oh, Psyche, or oh, Akane, or oh, Miku, or Konami. But in the end, I kind of fall back onto Misa. Just there's just something not just about what she chooses musically, it's her tone, it's her performance. There's this mystique to her, but I could go on, but I'll stop there.
I don't know that you could this is one of those rare bands that I don't know if one of the members left that you could replace them.
Oh, no.
Nope.
It's the whole is exponentially greater than the individual, and each individual is on the backside of incredible. I don't know what
they're powerhouses.
We got an example
They're powerhouses
already, right? Because Miku has her solo project. Not saying it's not good, but it's not my favorite thing to listen to, you know. And I think that when I first heard that EP, I liked it for what it was, but at the same time, like, wow, this is how important it is to have all of them together.
You know? I do love Voice. I listened to that
she wasn't
like a couple days ago.
Yeah, she wasn't trying to make BAND-MAID music.
Well, I know, but it wasn't like, I get what you're saying, but even if she still had a band that played with her on those, she still had other members that made the music with her, and it just didn't feel the same. It didn't feel like the same magic.
Oh, of course, yeah.
You can still have a member like join other project. It doesn't, but you still have to have the magic even all around. It's kind of like what we hear with Otto. She sounds amazing, but she has really good music, and the magic's there with all of it. And the reason why I mentioned that is because, you know, Miku's kind of following that like path of a little bit more electronic music in it and instruments, and I just don't feel it as much. So for me, I was like, wow, that's how important it is to have those five together, because it's just amazing, all in my opinion on it. But
yeah, no, you need all five of them. I mean, all of them are John Hancock's. Like all of them have their own signature pressed on. So, I mean, it's just everyone like leaves such an impression. If you do listen to this track or this track or this track or this track, I mean, every single one is, it's so fucking solid. I mean, I think every part just moves you in a certain way. So when you put all of that together, it's just nuclear completely.
They've actually not made me, I've been able to appreciate some older bands. I think probably maybe Peter might have alluded to this, but so you listen to them, you're like, wow, this is amazing, nobody plays bass like that. And then I've heard some older music, I'm like, okay, people have been playing bass like that, and like I didn't appreciate it because maybe the song itself didn't appeal to me too much, but now listening to them, I'm tuned in more to hearing that, so I can hear it in other shit. I'm like, oh shit, man, there's some incredible stuff going on in this music I've heard before, but I didn't appreciate it because the song itself wasn't as appealing overall. Like a BAND-MAID song is, like we were talking about, it's their music is so complicated that it can be easy to listen to and incredibly complex to listen to, but it appeals to instrumentalists and casual listeners. That's the magic of this band to me. And that's something that some of these other bands that I'm talking about didn't have that. But you can, now I hear it, I'm like, oh shit, there's some of that same kind of thing going on.
I think so. Once you take away a member, it older 90s bands, right? When they take away the singer, you're like, well, God, like this does not sound the same. Or they get rid of a guitarist, and like, I don't know. Like everyone has to connect. Dichotic, the band that I have, it's been through the same thing. We had all the members are great and it sounded awesome. But once I think we lost our bassist and we brought another bass. It was like, just didn't feel the same. And he's playing the same riffs, and we're like, just something's not there. And it's people forget about that part of a band formation. It's kind of like even sports teams are the same way, right? Like you have to have the chemistry and everything together, and it's very rare to get what you have with BAND-MAID going, like at all.
There's that feel. It changes everything. It's like 10 people can play the same bass line and everyone holds it a little bit differently. Everyone has a slightly different tone. Everyone kind of like hits the pocket slightly off or slightly on. And it just, I mean, when you have been through sort of like this merry-go-round of people playing the same thing, you go, oh shit, not everyone can play it this way.
Yeah.
Right? You know?
And sometimes not at all. Like you can replicate all you want. It's like, when you hear covers of songs, there's some covers that are better than others, but then you listen to them separately and you're like, well, they're both playing it absolutely correct, but this one just sounds better because they were able to have their own feel into or replicate it better. And it's just another element. So I guess my point is like, it's crazy how it just comes together and how it worked out. And it's very rare for something like that to happen.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. I've had the opposite effect where I go back and listen to stuff I like, and I'm like, this is really slow and really fucking boring.
Yes.
This is a fact. As I was learning about us, and I'm like, I can't fucking do this. What I've been playing guitar and bass for like 30 damn years. I should be able to play this, right? And I'm just not getting it. So I picked out a random song by Alice in Chains, and I'm like, I'm just going to learn this song, and just to reassure myself that I can do this.
Yeah.
And I think it was Wood. And like by the end of the song, I knew the whole song.
Well, I gotta play devil advocate with you.
Not that it's bad or not a good song. It's just it's a different way. And it was so much simpler. I'm like, okay, I can still learn bass. It's just that what she's doing is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It just takes longer to do.
You also got to remember though, you're listening, like this is what I've noticed. You've been listening to that song for 30 years though. That's in your like psyche. Like it's going to be so much easier for you to learn that.
It's in your psyche.
Go listen to it, and it's like one of the simplest things I've ever tried to learn.
But I get what you're saying. Like there's songs that I learned now that are simple, and yeah, of course you can learn them. But some of those older technical songs, since they have been marinating for so long, like for example, Protest the Hero, very complicated band. Those songs come way easier to me just because I've been listening for years. I was just saying there's that factor also, but I get what you're saying.
It's
like
funny to me. I had to give myself a booster because I was having trouble. That's all it was. Learn some easy shit to just prove I can do it,
But it's Guns N' Roses accessibility with Dream Theater musicianship, I guess, is if I was going to pick two bands that I would put together to describe BAND-MAID, it's that, I guess.
Elaborate on that.
Yeah.
I see the appeal.
No, obviously Guns N' Roses have talented musicians and stuff in it, but it's very easy to listen to. It's easy on the ears. It makes sense the first time you hear it.
Right.
Yeah. But Dream Theater, very few people listen to Dream Theater for the first time and go, wow, if you're not a musician, you listen to Dream Theater, like, I have to pay attention. Why do I have to pay attention?
Right. Yeah.
BAND-MAID gets those two together right, and it comes together perfectly. So you can either dissect it musically, or you can listen to it as a song as a whole and be just as entertained.
Yep.
Yeah, and then
it's like
go ahead. I was gonna say great comic by Jeff. A lot of it has to do with your fingers, how you're playing the song. The feel's really in the fingers and the tone. Because you can play some songs really well on any amp as long as you have that tone in your fingers. It, of course, can't be utter shit of an amp, but it's really hard to replicate. Replicate somebody's feel in general, just to get that sound, and the feel plays such a big part of it. When I play guitar riff, like I've showed the comparison, like here, let me just play this like a robot, like it sounds like weird, but when you put emphasis on notes and start adding your own way that you put pressure, everybody has different grip on the guitar, the way that they play, and that all adds to, and that develops over time. So it's a great comment by Jeff. I think that has a lot to do with it too.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what they always say about Eddie Van Halen. I mean, his tone is in his fingers. It's in him. It's not necessarily his amp or his pedals. It's him. I think that holds true.
Red people have played like people doing interviews or whatever, and like actually played through Eddie's rig, and you know what I sounded like? Me. It didn't sound like him. That's exactly what you're saying. It's like how it's definitely a part of it, because he adored his amps and his tones and everything. To him, that's all it was. But
Dimebag too. Yeah. Dimebag said he could walk up to any Randall solid state amp, set his things, and then that's him. But it's because of his attack with the pick and the way he frets, the way he fingers the neck.
Yeah, so that's why it's really impressive when somebody can like cover a song and replicate that. That's kind of crazy when they can actually pull that off. I've heard some people, I'm like, God damn. Just getting that feel down, because that's something you have to definitely listen to the song over and over and over again and play to it and like really get all those little nuances down. I think like, what was it? Stevie Ray Vaughan covered Jimi Hendrix the best. Like I was like, he's the only one that could like replicate his feel, but elevate it. And I'm like, holy shit.
You listen to it, and it's not even like he played what Hendrix played. He did so much. He took a song that was pretty like Voodoo Child, I'm thinking of. If you listen to the original, it was very loose and very not really well constructed. It's like a fucking jam. And Stevie took it and made it so anybody else could learn it. Like he gave it structure, but he did it in a way that it's still unmistakably a Hendrix song, but it's unmistakably Stevie Ray Vaughan. It's fucking crazy.
I think Stevie Ray Vaughan is really one of those people where his strings always sounded like they were sizzling. Like it always sounded so fucking alive, and like it felt like the strings were never stopped moving. Like there was something constantly just like flowing out of him. Like it's like the minute he turns on, it doesn't stop until he stops playing. Like
and he plays 12s. Those things are so thick.
Yeah, he fits to me the same kind of way that BAND-MAID does. His music, it's blues. Tons of people listen to blues. If you listen to what he does and how articulate and how his musicianship is off the fucking charts, dude. It is insane how precise he is and how complex he plays. Like it's always just plays fast. It's like, dude, you watch him play fast, and he's a virtuoso.
Yeah,
but you can just listen to it casually, or you can look at it and you're like, oh Jesus, this dude is insane.
Yeah, he's someone you have to see live. I mean, I remember watching Austin City Limits. And watching him play that thing, and it was just God.
Yeah.
It's like the guitar's him. It's like implanted.
I love about him when he's singing a line and he's not playing, his hand still does a vibrato. When he does it with his vocals, his hands every vibrato, it's still doing it. He's always playing the fucking song.
Yeah.
It's freaking nuts. All right, I'm going to open up to the questions to everybody that you guys want to ask the guys. I hit the start on the QA. I think you just click on that, and you can put in your question, and it'll highlight just the questions. I think you have to put a question mark for it to show up underneath there. I can't remember exactly how it works, something like that. But yeah, drop us questions for the guys that you want to ask. Either of them. If you want to ask both or just one of them, let us know. But while we're waiting for those questions to come in, make sure you guys subscribe to Made News Network, because I think they're about to hit 1,000 subs, and it'd be really cool if we can help them hit that right now. I think we can do that. I don't think you guys are very far away.
That'd be amazing. And we've got some giveaways when we do. I've had people are actually sending me stuff from their collection, so we can do awesome giveaways or Made News Network. Thank you to everybody who's already subscribed. The response has been amazing, more than I was expecting.
I should subscribe. I did already.
Yeah, you smashed that button.
Smashed it. You smashed it, all right.
I had to get a new one.
Gun to the head, single favorite BAND-MAID song, Nix.
Warning.
Peter.
Oh shit, gun to the head.
You got a gun to your head. Don't think.
He's dead. He's just
dead. You're dead.
Yeah.
Dude. You're fucking dead. You just died.
You're done. Alan.
Sayonara. Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
Brian.
Yeah, I'm daydreaming.
That's number 2. That's number 2.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one.
Okay.
I have like 5 in my head right now.
I think Peter and Ryan died. So Peter and Ryan definitely would have been dead. Yeah. SJ and I will make it out of that alive. So that's good. 2 of us live.
Let me say goodbye to my dog.
Okay. How about this? Just the first one that comes to mind out of the 5. Go. You wait.
Oh, warning, because he said it.
Okay.
No, that's a special song. Like there's something about that song that I think it goes over normal music. I feel like there's something extra special about that song.
That's how Giancho is for me. There's not even like a ripping guitar solo in that. It's like my favorite.
Hard Bros says we didn't mention about Psyche, but we just talked about how her voice was like a guitar solo, and I talked about how I play all of her vocal lines on guitar, and it's amazing. You must have missed that part, Hard Bros. Jeff Fenn wants to say, what's the serial number on the Flappy Pigeon?
Oh, mine.
Guitar. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have something else called Flappy Pigeon?
What's that?
You don't know what you're laughing at, Alan.
I know what he's laughing at. It is number 19. Number 19.
Number 19.
Are they still selling Flappy Pigeons?
No.
My lighting's all fucked up because the sun's coming out. Mine's 26, and there's a few. There are still a few out there in the wild in Japan, but they're the ones that are the 51 to 80 serial numbers. Peter and I have the first release, the 1 to 50.
How much?
They made 50 and then they extended it. Right?
Yeah, fuckers. We worked so hard to get those, and then they dropped another 30 of them.
How much were those guitars? If you don't mind me asking.
Peter, go ahead.
I can't.
I know. For me, looking up stuff, so you don't have to divulge anything. I've looked at prices in there. Like,
no, there's a story.
There is the price. There is the price, and I won't reveal who, but I actually had a benefactor who sold me the guitar for $50.
What?
Holy shit!
I'll just leave it right there. It's
wow.
Oh my god.
It's cheaper than Nix's.
All right, Nix.
It is.
I heard your story.
It is cheaper. It is much cheaper than Scott's.
So
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I was a part of it. I went through all of it. I didn't like feel it the way he felt it, but I went through it with him, so I can't laugh.
Yeah. Mine was about $6,150 more than his.
Yeah. Well, to get it, man. Yeah.
It was so I paid. I'll straight up. I gave Peter $1,000 bounty to go get it because I wasn't going to get one any other way. Then because he's in Osaka, FedEx doesn't ship ground out of Osaka. I had to pay fucking first class, so it was like almost $1,000 to ship it. Then I had to pay import and duty taxes, and then the damn state of California hit me for basically a VAT tax. So I had the damn thing for 10 months, and it kept getting more and more expensive when my tax bill came in. So we landed at like $6,200.
Wow.
Damn.
I'm not gonna lie. I legitimately feel like crying a little bit. I'm not even kidding.
Oh my god, that's nuts. I thought my PRS was expensive.
How awesome. Miku wasn't even when that guitar came out.
She can barely play.
Yeah. And she gets a signature guitar that people are like doing whatever they fucking can to get. And then they're like, all right, we'll make more. I mean, that's fucking cool as hell, man.
They should make more. I think that'd be cool if PRS came out with a Konami guitar, like signature.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone should have signature. Everyone should have a signature.
If Misa got a signature Black Cloud, I'd probably find a way. I'd find a way to get that.
Isn't hers? I thought that was like a specialty thing for her anyways. I mean, they're not a big company, but
it's not a production model. Like the Black Smoker is just kind of their generic term for that model of bass or guitar. But it isn't a Misa signature. And then she has the Relic one that they did a one-off for her, but you can't mix it on production.
Right. You can't like buy that.
Nah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
yeah, their shit's expensive.
Mikoto wants to ask, what is your favorite BAND-MAID item? Nix?
Peter.
What does that mean? What I have? Like a merch?
Yeah, I guess he means merch. Probably the Flappy Pigeon, no?
No, that didn't cost that much. Everybody does that to me. I don't think I deserve it.
I stopped by the market, picked up some chicken, some green onions, and a flappy pigeon. It was
$55.
If there is another opportunity to get a flappy pigeon, I'm definitely going for it for sure. Like 100%. I would definitely go for it. I don't know though. $6,000's pretty steep.
So Miku really is like your maid.
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
What
about you, Ryan? Oh, Konami. You're Konami, right?
For a favorite band member?
Yeah.
I was hoping I wouldn't have to answer that.
We already knew it was Konami, so I just
yeah.
I mean, the shirt.
Yeah.
Shut up.
But I'm still, every time I say that, I'm like, well, you can't say. I feel bad saying one without mentioning the other. So,
right. But it will fall back.
I had to make a choice. She is amazing. And they've all inspired me to reevaluate how I write music, but she probably had the biggest impact.
Oh yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah, for me, Miku's more like motivation to be better, and a different. Yeah, but you're right. All of them have their own thing, but that's definitely
okay. Alan, so was there something in particular, like something that she said or that was done that you read that made you go, "Oh shit, she really is my inspiration"? Something that kind of triggered that thought.
Oh man, I'm like tearing up. Just I can't even get the words out. So, I'll answer that in a second so I can get it together.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, let me get it together. So you answer your favorite item first, SJ, and I'll explain in a second.
Okay. I'm gonna say that it's actually Misa's pick because there was a show that I attended. It was the same venue, Hiroshima Club Quattro, and the year before, I had almost gotten her pick, but I didn't because somebody else picked it up like right in front of me. Oh. And so I was basically so frustrated and so angry because I think it was supposed to be mine, or that was just in my head.
Yeah.
So then a year after of me wanting that pick so badly, and then people posting like their pick pictures and like, oh, I got Misa's pick. I'm like, So I think getting this one was special because it was a year of just frustration and kind of being disappointed. I didn't get it the first time. So this one.
Right on.
All right, Scott.
So kind of like Peter, I got a pick in Dallas, which was pretty special. She threw it not to me, but at me, and I was lucky enough to catch it. But I think as far as merch, it's going to have to be my Zippo collection from 2017.
God. Oh, man.
And that is, I have all 6 of them. To my knowledge, there is only one other full set in the United States because of how difficult it was to get. And for those who... I think at this point, most people know that I'm a police officer and I'm good friends with the chief of police from my department. We go to concerts together. In fact, we've been to BAND-MAID a couple of times. He's Japanese and his wife and daughter go back to Japan every year during the holidays to visit family. So when the Zippo lighters came out, you couldn't buy them because they wouldn't ship them out of country because Japan considers it hazardous materials, even if it's brand new unfueled. So I said, hey, and I did all the research. Each individual can bring 3 of them if they're unfueled in carry-on and blah, 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 blah. So I did it. He goes, yeah, give me the money. And they were $73 a piece. But when he's coming back and they're going through customs, leaving Japan to come back here, they got yanked out of line for inspection because of those lighters. It took her 45 minutes to explain what they were, why she was bringing them back. So I almost got the chief of police's wife arrested in Japan for contraband. But no, I love them. That's probably my favorite. That set.
Oh yeah, Zippos. Ugh, those are amazing.
Yeah, you're showing me like how you look those up, and that was crazy, like the prices of those Zippos. But you were telling me like, right? There was some like restriction you had to get around to even get those shipped to you, right? For the
as I just explained.
I just told that story.
You just said, wow. Sorry, I
did you doze off?
Wow. I'm out of it. I'm still like recovering. I just completely blanked out.
Sorry.
Yeah, that was crazy. Anyways, sorry. Go ahead, Ryan. Ask a question.
No.
Okay. Anyways, guys, make sure you go to Made News Network and subscribe to the channel. But yeah, I'm just sorry. I'm like, I don't know what happened to me. My brain just went bam, just died right now.
You ran out.
The coffee ran out.
Ran out of fuel, man.
Yeah, but I think we're gonna end it there. Anyways, we're at the 2-hour mark, and guys, it was so awesome having you on. Is there any like last things you guys want to say before we end this off?
For me, I just want to say, thank you. You guys have been so supportive through this little fledgling thing that we're doing here. It says so much about you guys because we obviously have overlap. So for you to want to be able to push us and boost us is absolutely amazing. It says a lot about you guys as individuals, as a Gaijin channel, as a Gaijin Guys channel, and also just overarching. It says a lot about the fan base in general. It's another reason I just love this fan base and this band. So thank you.
Welcome, man. Thank you guys.
Hell yeah. And you, Peter?
This was a good talk.
Yep.
Bye. Bye. No, God, how often, I don't know, how often do you get to talk about things that you really love and that really impact you and that means something more than just stuff you have to do? So like for me, I love talking with people. I love meeting people. And the fact that I can do this with a band that I truly love and respect. Yeah, no, it's a special thing. I definitely don't take this for granted, especially being a foreigner in a foreign country. Like these moments are precious. So thank you guys for the conversation. Thank you guys for opening up as well. Thank you for inviting me and Scott to do this. Like I would love to come back anytime and talk about whatever.
I was about to say, yeah, I would definitely want to have you guys back on. I feel like we just scratched the surface of getting to know you guys, and I feel like we could probably have like another 4 hours extended to this podcast. It's just awesome. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt for you.
Yeah, no. So again, just thank you. I am truly grateful, and I know that you guys both get to find, I think, your dream. This is a weird thing to say, but I hope both of you guys get to find your dreams, and that whatever BAND-MAID has inspired you or supported you in, and the fans around you, that you guys get to achieve something that you feel that you are satisfied and happy with, and really, at peace with. So BAND-MAID's done a lot for, I think, all of us, and I just hope that we can take that stuff and make something more. Like I think for me, the beautiful thing about BAND-MAID is that they do inspire people to do things, and I would love to see where that inspiration carries other people. So to see you guys succeed and to see you guys become whatever it is that you guys want to be and do whatever it is that you guys want to do, I mean, that'd be the coolest thing for me to see. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
You guys have a good one. You guys all stay awesome out there. See you guys later.
Thanks,
see you
everybody.
guys tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow. And we'll definitely set up another day to have you guys come back on. It was awesome.
Oh, hey, when's real quick? When are you posting Vlad's video, Peter?
Oh, me.
Yes, you.
Tomorrow. I'll do it tomorrow afternoon.
All right.
Okay.
Tomorrow afternoon. Another reason why you should go subscribe to the Made News Network. Let's see. What did you guys get at? Come on, guys. Go subscribe over there. Let's get them to 1,000. All right.
We were 863. That's what we started at.
All right. You'll
You
get
guys
there.
have a
You
good
get there
one.
soon.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
See you.
No worries.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you guys.